G'day, how you going? Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. I'm just getting set up while we started, and while we get set up, I'll put the size of the canvas up there in centimetres and inches, because quite a lot of people like to know what size the canvas is. And I'll also get some colours going up the screen here as well. And I'll put my gloves on. I like to wear gloves because they keep the paint off my hands, and I don't want to get any blood poisoning or anything like that. It's just, and it just keeps everything tidy. Right, I've got my coffee up here. I've got my cold coffee. Got my Vegemite up top there. Woohoo! And we've also, now this is a photo that was sent to me, and it's got a lot of elements I like to use for my channel here. And the person who sent this in was Nikki Hammond, and it's just got some beautiful highlighted clouds. It's a sun setting down over a set of bushes over in front, behind a lake there. And you can also add different elements to this. I'll just show you the picture. So we've got the sun setting down here, and we've got a mid-ground here, whether it's an island or whatever with some trees. You can put whatever you want there. These are just what's in this photo, but it's giving you an idea what you can put your way. I want to do the sky like this because I like the way the sun's come down, and we've got the shadow on this side of the sun because the sun's behind it, and we've got the highlighting at the top here, and we've got two colours gradient together, and the water can be any colour as well, and you can probably even put a silhouette in front of that. So I'm going to set up my canvas. Now this photo is in Joe Pool Lake in Grand Prairie, Texas. And by memory, I think Vicky said her and her husband or something like that were right here, and they took the photo themselves. It's a nice photo. Now I've got my soft craft paint there, and I need to, just the top half, because as you saw in the picture, there's a lot of beautiful blending going on there. So I want to be able to blend. So I'm going to condition my canvas with the soft flowing paint. It's pretty much the consistency of house paint, you know, for your ceiling, but it's not as flat. It's a bit more of a sheen to it. So this allows me to condition my canvas the way I do. If you've seen my videos, you see how I blend my skies and clouds okay. So I'm just going to use that photo as a reference. Make sure my coffee's out of the way. And I want the top half painted for the sky, because the sky's going to have a bit of blending. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the bottom. Get that all the way across there like that. Okay, I want that pink salmon colour, so I'm going to get us some of this white, and now I'm going to try the quinacridone magenta and see if that gives me the colour I'm looking for. No, it's more of a violety pink there. I need a salmony pink, so I won't use the quinacridone magenta. Just to get this a little bit more true to the colour, I'm adding a bit of yellow ochre to that mix, just to give it to act like a yellow, to create that pink, to turn that little bit orangey colour, what I'm looking for. Now I'm going to use my flat 2-inch synthetic brush, and pretty much from about here down is this colour. This will probably make a beautiful colour. Sky, the reference pictures, it's hard sometimes to paint without a reference, but when you got one, you can really get some stuff going onto your canvas. Now I'm looking at the reference, so I'm looking at the reference, using it, but I'm doing it my way. I'm not going to try and copy every shadow. Okay, that's fine. Now I want to just lightly push that into the white and let it participate, if that's the right word, into nothing like that. There we go. I love using big words, even if I don't know what they mean. They sound good. There we go. Now we'll get the top colours going, which the more I look at it, I'm seeing an oranger flavour at the top rather than the pink, so I'm going to keep adding maybe some more yellow ochre into that flavour and see what I got. So before I jumped in, I did a bit of a test here and it's working. So I'm going to add a lot more of the yellow oxide there, or the yellow ochre, to that flavour to get that kind of a orangey flavour in the sky there, the sunset that's happening there. And obviously these colours will work great together, as they do in the photo. So probably mainly this edge here. So I'm going to bring it to me salmony red colour, let's say. I'm not too worried there because there's a massive big grey cloud there, so I know I can leave that. And there's going to be a cloud over where the two colours join. Now play with it until you get this tone the way you want. I want maybe a bit more in there, so I'm just going to put a bit more. Let's see if I add a bit of white, does it lighten it up? I mean, the craft paint takes a long time to lighten something up, but that'll be all right. I've got to get it going before this dries on me because I've only got a certain window to blend my clouds. All right, I'm going to go and use I've got some couple of greys mixed up, a dark and a lighter value. This one's mid-grey out of a tube, and this one's just a bit darker from a tube, which is carbon grey. And I want to use this to create the cloud. So the cloud has a bit of billowing all the way across the top, coming, you know, the scallops of the cloud. So that's what I'm getting into here now. I'm just copying the reference roughly, not trying to be too detailed with it. Now I'll pick up some more of that grey. Now that I've got the top on there, because that's the main shape that I wanted, I want to fill in the rest just by stamping it on. I stamp it on, that way I'm not washing it into the colour there. And I want this grey probably fading down the way it is in the picture. I'd like it to look like it is in the picture. So there. Now this is all wet. I would not have put all this much on if I had no retarder in it, okay? I would have trouble blending this. So let's get that quickly blended down. Have a paper towel or a rag or anything, and I want to blend all this into that bottom colour. Now as I do it, I'm going to stop and wipe the brush, the build up off the brush, so as it's going to stay an even blend. It's not going to transfer a big chunk of what's on the paintbrush down into your, see what happened just there? So we can blend that down into oblivion. And then I'll get the top just like here. I'll just dance it a bit. There we go. And pretty much all the way along. It's a nice dark cloud. This I'll quickly dance all that on first. Excuse me. Yeah, now I want to fade this down over this pinky sunset colour here. And let me look in the monitor. I think the colours will work very well. Now, this is the sort of painting that's like, wow, that looks nice. But if you study this video on how to do it, if you're a beginner, it's not that hard at all. It really isn't. And that's why I want to do these videos, to show you, once you've done a bit of practice in work, you can do anything. Okay, I just want to slightly soften them. Now this cloud paint does not have any retarder in it, it's just as it is out of the tube. Now I'm doing another one probably here, coming in front of that, flattening the bottom. Keep everything parallel to your canvas, and we want some sort of faded stuff just here. So I'm going to quickly put that on like that, just the way it is in the photo. So I'll copy that element there. I'll quickly blend that first because it's thinner than that paint. So I want to quickly mist blend that into there. And when it dries, it'll be a little bit darker. How's that looking? Yeah, you can see that. And I'll do the same to this cloud. Stamp it on. Everything's still wet. It's got a bit of a bottom on it, that one. So I'll leave it the same as there. And like I said, I get a lot of requests. And if your request suits what I like to put into my channel, of course it'll go there. But I do get a lot of requests that is, let's just say, it's not my cup of tea sort of thing. It's not so much not my cup of tea, but it's just something I know it's not what I'm after to put in my channel. Now, what do we got there? Okay, and I'm probably thinking a little bit more horizoning down here, something a bit more distinctive, just down there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Easy does it. This is going to be blended as well, all the way in like a mist. Just see like that, like a distant cloud there. And over here, they're just tapering down from that big mass as well. So this is a way you can get your acrylics to blend and get that beautiful halo type of cloud sunset. All right, so here we are so far. Now back to the reference picture, we're going to add the halo light rim on top of the clouds. And as you can see, there's some yellow in there as well. So I haven't put that cloud there. If I feel like it, I might do later on. So I want to get this glare on the top and some of it sneaking in the middle there, okay? I've got my titanium white and I've got some cad yellow. So some of that I want to mix to get that golden colour they've so muchingly got there. So that's a bit limey, that's a bit limey. I want to get that more golden. Let's just try the touches of that paint there, the quinacridone magenta. Okay, I'm looking. See how much I put in there? Not much at all. Some paints tinting up can be very strong. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, okay, that'll do me. Now I've got like a filbert brush, it's quite a soft one, and I've got this to blend. So I want to put bits on and do the appropriate blending, and I'll show you how I want to do that, okay? Now most of the gold stuff is around here, so I want it on. Now it might bleed with that grey a bit, careful as you do it. Please use a good quality paint if you have it. If anything, I'm trying to stay off the grey. It's slowly coming into it, but not to worry. And I'll show you what I mean about the little blending brush. Because if anything, this side we want a decent hard line, and the top side can be faded out, okay? And I'm not too much worried now doing this little blend, because this is little blending. When you've got a lot to do, you need that retarder working for you. I could probably dry this. I'm going to see how I go, because I need some more of this gold in there. Now I'm going to mix up a bit more, and when I do, I'm just going to change the yellow to the acrylamide yellow, because this cad yellow is a bit piss anti. So anyway, that's what I'm doing where the gold brighter areas are, okay? And I'm just blending it up into that top colour. Okay, so I've got some acrylamide yellow now. Now I've given this edge a light blow dry, okay? I haven't dried the living buggery out of it, just so long as see it like this paint now I'm sitting on, and I want it to be able to sit there without washing into the grey and participate some of this yellow strong colour up into that lighter colour. So I'm finding the pillowy shapes here, and look, I'm just like, as an example, I can finger this up, feed it up, spider web it up, whatever. I'll put that down, grab that little blending brush that I've been using, and even though it's partially dry, it's only a little area, it's a good quality paint, I can scrumble that up, okay? Don't do too much at a time, because you don't want to scrumble it and still see the hard blobs that you put down by the brush. You want it to be able to merge And when you can control what your brushes do, it's a fantastic feeling. Okay, video was off. I just did so much and camera wasn't even on. I've just got titanium white out of the tube here, and I'm slowly getting this white rim around the cloud here. I don't want to solidly do it all the way. For the sake of the way the picture looks, bits of it are blending up into the higher colour there. Okay, so that's what I've done there. That's what I thought I was filming, but the camera wasn't even on. Bit of a occupational hazard that happens when you film. I'm sure a few other guys and ladies that film their work have the same problem. Yeah, that's all right, not too bad. Now I want to mainly get here done so you can see what's going on. Some of this is in the gold there. I probably will off camera get this grey, the shape and detail I want, but I'm just using the very tip of this and getting our pillowy, scallopy shape to the top of the cloud. Come in a little bit, you got pockets in your cloud there. Okay, just like that. Now that's a bit too much. I'll get that little brush. I'm going to detail that grey a bit better there, so I'll get rid of that mark. How's that look? Yeah, I buggered that up, didn't I? Made not of that good and proper. Anyway, so we're kind of in a roundabout way, getting all this, what would you call this, like a halo? No, it's not a halo, it's pretty much a glare, backlit glare, whatever, yeah. Anyway, I'm sure someone will tell me. Tell me in the comments below, because I don't know everything. And sometimes it's good to have you people help me out. Comment below and tell me what you like, what you don't like. I've just been putting a little bit of, you know, these sort of clouds there, like that, and just blend it in. That colour's dried, but it's still tacky, so it's going to allow it to scrumble and distort the white that I've put on there. There we go. Okay, now I'm grabbing a sponge, the size I want the sun, and I'm just picking up some of the yellow in it. I've given the sponge a decent spray of water, just so it's going to pick up that paint and not be so dry and gluggy and unwanting. I need a bit more paint. And we'll get our indication of a sun in the painting. So on the photo it's about here, so I'm going to put it about there. Okay, give it a bit of a twist. Okay, there's our sun. Now I've given the sun the slightest dry because I just want to merge and blur the edges of this. So I'm picking up my little blender and very carefully blurring the edges of that sun. And you're going to need a rag to constantly wipe your little brush. I can probably stamp this all the way through it just to give it an even coat, but now I don't want to put this paint out there, so I've got to wipe that off and get the edge of it just blurred enough, and we'll put a little bit of grey behind it. It's really got to be dry. This is very, very wet. I'm going to dry it a bit more. It's very, very wet, and if you try it when it's wet, you're going to have trouble. And I don't want you to have trouble. So now, let's get that just softly, softly, softly. There we go. And we need a bit of pink glare at the top of it to fuse that cloud back from it because it's so bright. And now I'm just making the inside pretty much one colour so it all suits. I'm going to pick up some of this colour that we had there very sparingly because that's kind of radiating up from here into the grey as it would do. It's pushing it back because it's so bright. I'll come back into the white and fix it up. I'll just get this there first, just like that. And the more you muck with something, you can really damage it. So try not to overdo what you're doing. Now I'm going to get the top of that sun. Make sure that brush is very, very dry. And bring that white back to there. Instead of it being all mishy-mashy. Alright. I've just picked up some of the mid-grey that I've had on the board earlier from the tube. I'm just going to see, like, get some of this cloud toned a bit because it looks too flat one colour to me. It's the way it is in the photo, but I'd rather change it for my painting's sake. So I've just wiped that brush now and I'm going to like scrumble that back into that darker grey. So if anything, the light, hard light's on that side, I suppose, or vice versa. You can try it the other way. But this isn't in the picture. It's just something I'm adding into it just to create, I don't know, a bit more artistic value to the painting. When you watch a video of mine, or even if it's somebody else's, just paint, follow along with it to your degree of where you feel safe. You don't have to go the whole way. If they're adding extra things or things you don't want to add, you don't have to. Yeah, I think that's looking a bit better. This hard line here, I want that merging a bit better than what it is. This is probably like the yumminess. It's adding that depth of field in the cloud. It makes you stand back and go, wow. It's adding the bullshit effect. The best bullshit you can add in a painting is when it's in your clouds. So I put a bit there, just wiped it off, wiping it right off that little brush so there's bugger all on it. And then, I maybe shouldn't have put it there because it's near the sun, you idiot. And it doesn't matter if you feel like, oh no, I've gone and stuffed it. Because too much bullshit can make your painting stink. So what I'll do, I'll pick up a bit of the darker grey again, dab it off the brush, and bring it, where are we? Bring it back. Where you feel you might have overdone the lighter areas. Wipe it off and do your scrumbling and blending, okay? To me that's added better elements to my painting here. Alright, so we got this far. We'll put in the horizon line, landmass and the bottom water, something similar to the photo. Now you can, like I said, you can make this any old way, okay? But I'm just going to do it like that, and probably this area here I'll put some glaring highlight on, okay? So back to the painting, and I'll get my good old trusty bullshit stick. Now I'm looking at the reference picture, probably that much there, before I put my stick on, that much there is water, and that much, yeah, okay, so I might do the water about there, and the top of the thingy-bigs about there. So then I'll just put this on. That'll give me a rough estimate of where I'm going. I'll hang that back up there like a bloody gentleman. And if anything, you want this coming down and up again, but not so much, literally. So I'll do it with the brush anyway. So I'm going to grab a flathead brush, which I got here. So I've got some burnt umber here, and I'm going to taint it with some black. Okay. So I'm going to start with the top, and if anything, I'll use the brush any old way. So I know I want it up and down and wherever, but if anything, I'm going to come a bit lower and then a bit higher up onto that side there. So this is nice and wet enough. So see how it's coming off the brush, and I'm creating a nice, decent sharp edge there. Most of this is in silhouette because the sun's behind it. But it's up to you how you detail this and make your painting look. Some of it's, actually I don't mind it like that. I was going to do it real solid like that, but I don't mind the bits splaying out to make like detailed branches, because it's in the distance, but not that far away, you know. So I'm going to do that because I like it. See how easy it is to change your painting? And then I'll bring that down, and then I'll bring the water to where I want it to stop. So anyway, this is going to pretty much go all the way along here. It doesn't have to go right down low in the middle. Don't be too carried away and make it go down. Now I've got that mapped in pretty much the way I want it. I've just got some white next to it, so I want to grab some of that and make a lighter value, but not too light. I want to keep the dark silhouette aspect there. So just enough to indicate some light area, and I'm using the same brush as I did for all this, so as we'll get pretty much the same effect. And I'll see how we go. I want to get some highlights, mainly where the sun is on all this silhouette. And if you give this a go and you don't like your highlights, dry it all and start again. Just colour it in dark again, and maybe just leave it dark. That's up to you. I mean, in the photo, these highlights aren't there, but I'm adding it. And I'm slowly fading away as I get out here. How's that look in the monitor? Okay, now the water's not a beautiful bright blue. There's no shadow of the land in the water because it's all in silhouette behind, in front of the sun, okay? So we're going to get this sort of a blue-grey for the water. I've got phthalo blue, and I want to, instead of use white, I want to get some of the mid-tone grey from a tube, which is there. And that's going to create pretty much the value I want. And then I'll add some darker, there we go, let's mix all that together so that we don't run out, because we need enough for the whole bottom of the painting. Let's use some of this magenta we got left over there, okay? And get a darker value going. That can be the darker areas in there. It's not exact, but it'll do. Now, I've just put some low tacking tape there, just to make it easier for me to get that horizon line in there of the water. And I've added some water, I sprayed some water on top of this paint that I mixed on the palette, just so see how it's transferring better. And I'll quickly get this on here. And if you want, you can even put a bank on here. Ooh, I wonder if that'll work. So we've got that colour blue, and like that darker colour now, we'll pick that up and roust about some of that in there. But I'm going to dry it, get it a bit tacky so I can do that, okay? I'll just finish down here first, and before I do, this is the darker colour that I mixed just for the front here, just to add some different values of depth in the water. We're probably in the deeper end and looking at the shallow end instead of being at the shallow end. But that's just some darker values there. Get some more of that in there. I want to kind of get some, I'll get some of that blacky brown as well, because I want some, let's see if I can do this, or I might have to dry it. Yeah, I'm going to have to dry it because it's not doing what I want. So I will dry that. But I'm only going to dry it. You know what? No, I won't. I've got my Mr. Lovely here. That'll do it. You watch what this does. Picking up the darker colour, putting it on where you want it. You can detail the water to look exactly like the photo, but this is just my way here. Now I've got to wipe that brush on the paper towel. The water's still wet. Let's hope that's not too dirty to put. That'll be all right because the water's dark. And we're going to move those darker bands through there now. And if some of them are too liney, bring them down like that and up and finish it off. And if you want, you can, well, I think we will need to get some, just some light shimmering on some of those. So this pinky colour there that we had for the sky, some of it's over here as well. I want to taint some white with that. So it's not white, it's, I'll get a bit more in there. Okay, and I've got that 2-inch synthetic blending brush to pull this through. Our water, so there's not a distinct moon sun glare in it, but we'll put something there. So I want to, let's say, stamp it on there and get bits stamped on. Just like that. It looks stupid at the moment. That's part of getting there. Keeping these straight, not going on an angle any old way. Try and keep everything straight and horizontal to your painting. And you might have to work over this again and again until it's the value you want. So we've done that. I've cleaned that brush here, and I want to just and play with it. There we go. Play with it, play with it, play with it. So I've picked up some more of that white. Now it's contaminated with a bit of the pink and the blue. And I'm just looking, there's nowhere really, but I'll have to make up my own. So I'm pretty much going to go over the darks maybe. See, because the paint's wet, this is coming off the brush and not going on a second application strong enough. So I'm just sort of playing with it again. You've got some glaring out here as well. It's quite a spreaded out glare. See, so these lines we put in the first glare, I'm sort of breaking those up a bit. This can be coming down like that. It doesn't matter. Well, I'll show you over here as an example. Don't worry about how crooked this is, because when I pull it through with that other brush, that pulling through is what's got to be straight. Get out the way here. So here, and everything's still wet. And watch that crooked one. Manipulate it the way you want. There, I want it like that. I want it like that. Anyway, that'll do. Let's take the tape off and we'll just finish this painting off. All right, I've got good old carbon black here. I want it a little bit wet and inky so I can get a decent line coming off the brush, and I'm going to grab my bullshit stick because I just want to get some depth in the horizon line. Oh, where are we? Get back in there, level. There we go. Beautiful. Now, we're pretty much going on our water line with this line nice and straight because the water line's straight. So see why I made it inky? It come off the brush beautiful. Now, we can take the stick away. Just remember, we're not putting a reflection in here, so it doesn't have to be like that. And I want to distort the bottom of this, I mean the top side of this line into the bush, and it's just going to create depth in those bushes over there. And then if you want, we can put a bit of a white line caressing this if we want. Be at one with your painting. So yeah, coming along, disturb the top half of that line, wiggle it up, wiggle it up. Don't think about it, just do it. If you know what you want to do, it's best to just do it. There we go. And I'm hoping, let me see, here's a bit stupid. I should have used this little filbert brush before. It's so beautiful. I'm going to have a look in the monitor just to see how this is looking. And you might feel, you know what, Ian, you shouldn't have done that. Well, big deal, I have done it, but you don't have to do it, okay? It's totally up to you. That's giving it some depth out there. All right. You want it sort of fading away. It's pretty much like you're putting black mist at the bottom. But yeah. There we go. All right, we can finish it there, and I'll put an autograph on this, just down here. And be sure to check the links in the description below. There's quite a few there, and all my paintings are for sale. It helps me out a lot to buy hardware for my studio and bits and pieces for my channel here. Yeah, there's links to see what's available for sale, my Facebook, my art group page, my video catalogue, just how many videos I've got in YouTube and all the different subjects. There's also a donate button if you just want to press that and just simply send me a donation because you like what I'm doing out here for you. All right, so now there's Steve's little footprint. We'll put a frame on that just to see how she looks. I'll try this one today. I'm in the process of making another frame. It's a frame I got from a, oh, look at that, hang on a minute, we'll come over here in a minute. But I went to the Salvation Army op shop and I just went scouring all the pictures, framed pictures they had there, the ones with decent frames that I can use, and I bought them and they were quite cheap. And I can pull them apart because they're bigger than this, and I can cut them down to appropriate sizes that I want. So long as I can miter cut them, glue and nail them back together, I'm happy. All right, so this frame's a bit dirty. We'll try the other one. All right, that one needs fixing. Okay, so here we go. We'll put this frame on there. Yes, look at that. That's not too shabby. It's pretty much what our friend sent in there, Vicky Hammond. And like I said, it's Joe Pool Lake, and it's in Grand Prairie in Texas. They were out there on there and they took this photo, and I thought, what a great photo. Well, she told me it'll be a great photo to paint, and I thought, you know what, that does fit into my subjects. So there we go. All right, hope you had fun here. Hats off to everybody who enjoyed themselves watching this video today. And be sure to tell your friends if you like what I do. But if you don't like it, you tell everybody, and keep your bloody hat on, all right? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.